All right, I've had a couple people PM me. I had a phone call and an email. People asking me how to make the sprue extenders that they saw in my videos. So after trying to describe them in writing or verbally, I decided to, guess what, make another video. So I'm making a video right now trying to demonstrate how to make those sprue extenders that I've got. My sprue extenders are approximately 3 1/4 inches long because of the size of the couplers that I use. Bass Tackle makes a 3-inch sprue extender. It's machined aluminum, very nice work. You don't have to worry about the plastic getting caught up in here when you pull the sprue out of it. There's no rough edges or anything, and it works real good. They've got them, and I tried to buy them from them. Fortunately for me, they were out of the office for 2 days, and I was desperate, so I needed to make some because I ended up needing over 50 of them. And at $7 a piece, that's a lot of money. So I had read before on one of the forums about someone making sprue extenders out of copper pipe. So I decided to go out and get some copper pipe. I took a mold into Lowe's and I test fitted copper pipe, and I came up with 1/2 inch diameter. Now the copper pipe has 3 different sizes as far as the wall, and you don't need the thick stuff, which I think is an L, and then you have an N, which is next one, and an M. Whatever the thinnest wall there is all you really need. The couplers that I buy are in contractor pack. They're bags of 10. I think they're $4.50 for 10, and they have dimples on them. The dimple helps out when you're driving it down, and it kind of holds it in place. All right, enough BS. Let's get into it. All right, what I've done is I made myself up a little jig because I was making a lot of them. I've got a 16 millimeter deep socket Craftsman, and that's what I use because the pipe is the diameter of the inside of the socket. These are scrap from when I was making 1-inch couplers and they didn't work out. But what I did is I took 2 pieces, figured out what length I needed, and it comes out to be right at 1.5 inches. And what it does is it sits down in here perfect, and when I take the sprue extender and I drive it home, it leaves that 1/4 inch protruding out of the sprues, out of the couplers, so that's what sits into the mold. What I did also is I drilled a hole on this side over here, a little over 3 inches thick or deep, and I take my 1/2 inch pipe, I put it in there, takes a little wiggling, I take a pen, I mark it, and that tells me the right depth that I need to cut. You can simply do the same thing with the ruler. The only problem is I was getting tired of doing it with the ruler, so I went ahead and I made the jig. You just take a standard cutter. I bought this that night, Cobalt, at Lowe's. I think it was $12, and it has helped me out a lot with this. I've got a bandsaw, but I don't think I could cut this copper pipe with a bandsaw. You just go ahead and after you mark your pipe, you cut it. Now I'm not going to go through and cut everything because of time and don't want to bore the hell out of you. And what I've already done is I've cut 4 pieces, and I got them in stages. Just 2 of them are the bare pipe. One I've got 1 coupler on, one I've got 2 coupler on, and I'll show you how I do it. I take the coupler or the pipe and I stick it in the end of the socket. I take the coupler and I kind of mount it on the top. Then I take a 11/16 deep socket Craftsman. I put it on top of the coupler and I hammer it down. And when it stops, you're at this point. You take another coupler, you put that on there, you hammer it down. And when it stops, you're just a little bit off of there. You take your third coupler, you line it up on top, put your socket over it, and you hammer it home. Now you've got sprue extender. It's just like the other ones I've got made. The only thing is this is shinier. So I'll demonstrate it again. You've got the spacers down inside this socket so that you got enough that will leave you what you want, which is about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom for it to go in the port. Put the coupler on there, put your socket over the top of it, hammer it down until it stops, pull the socket off, put another coupler over it, go down with your socket, hammer it down until it stops, take another coupler, put it over the top of the socket over the top of it, hammer it down, it's home. Bingo. Your sprue or your tip, bait junkie tip, fits in there with no problem. The only problem that you're going to have is on Bear's molds. The opening of the port is a smaller diameter than everybody else's. And when you go to put it in there, if you've got it clamped shut, it won't go in there. So what I do, if you've watched the video, before I clamp my 6 molds together, I make sure I have a sprue extender in each one of them. And then when you clamp it down with the pressure of the clamp, it seals the mold so you don't have to worry about flashing or anything. You go to take it out and it's a hard pull out. And it's almost impossible. Well, you can get it in there. What I've been known to do is take a little piece of 2x4 and pound it down in when I'm too lazy to open up the bank of molds. But that's the only one you're going to have difficulty on. I went and I ground down the tips so that they were kind of beveled, and I get them in there and I hit it with the palm of my hand and drive them home. But the problem you have is you go and you use a say a high rock mold, and you have that beveled end on there. You put it in here and it has a tendency to fall over easy. And these are still a little bit smaller than the diameter of high rock molds or a bass tackle mold. I've never used a Delmar and any of the other ones. All my molds have been Bears, bass tackle, and high rock. And with bass tackle and high rock, it fits perfect. With Bears, you have a little tightness. But anyways, one more time real fast, since I got one more set up over here. I got one started on it. You put it in place. I've already got that one driven down. You take your next coupler, you put it on there. Hammer it down. Take another coupler. Put the socket over the top of it. Oops. Take it down, and you're done. And we'll finish off this one. There you have it. I just made 4 3-inch sprue extenders. If you guys got any questions or anything that you want to ask me, don't hesitate. I'll be more than happy to answer. You can either email me at razorjimlanza@gmail.com. You can PM me on the baitjunkie.com forum at Razor, or you can even post your questions, which I would prefer, on the forum. And if I can't answer them, maybe somebody out there has the knowledge and they can answer it. But again, I'm having fun making videos. I appreciate your guys' input. Talk to you later.